We left last Thursday. We had
Gone through everything.
we had gone through the entire budget. We had proposed cuts totaling $228,788, which is equivalent to 4 cents of the proposed tax that we had in the budget. I suggested that we take a few days over the weekend to consider, see if there was anything we wanted to do differently, and to come back tonight with any changes, suggestions, or to move forward with presenting this budget to the public hearing, I guess would be the next step.
Personally, I don't know where else we can cut. I mean, everything. Well, go ahead. But I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to move forward.
Mr. Tucker?
Yes, I'm ready to move forward.
We had originally scheduled a public hearing for the 29th of May, but because of what I would consider a significant cut to the schools, I felt like we needed to give them time to meet, to look at how they could handle this type of cut, and then a new budget needs to be, they need to show where the cuts are coming from to put in the budget. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, we had tentatively rescheduled for the regular meeting in June.
For the public
12th,
hearing.
For the public hearing, and then,
It's scheduled for the 12th.
and then,
And that gives the school board time to meet before we advertise. Is that right? Is that right, Melinda? Y'all have time to meet before we advertise?
I'm sorry, Rebecca was just,
That's okay.
we are scheduled to meet Tuesday the 29th at 5:30 to have discussion about where the school board would like to see us make those cuts. So we won't have anything until after that meeting. And could I just ask one question? Is it $150,000 or is it $129,000?
It's 150.
Okay.
And it's school board call. You know, we can't tell you how to cut, what to do with your budget. I think there's a couple of things you could change that would make it pretty easy, but that's entirely up to the board. Is there anything else?
Does BB or Richard have anything? I think
We'll advertise on Saturday, June the 2nd. Required notice is 7 days, but we'll give 10 because the greatest circulation on the paper is Saturday. Public hearing on the 12th, looking for first reading on the 19th, and 22nd for a second reading, tentative right now. That's tentative. So.
When would you need a budget for this?
Yours is shown in the advertisement as educational instruction on your expenditures. I can reduce your revenue sources 150 if you would like me to leave the remainder of them the same and advertise that way. Then if you will get me your changes, I want to accommodate as much as I can. Say, for example, on Wednesday the 6th or Thursday the 7th, because that gives you another week after you meet to put that together, and then that gives me time to put it in budget format, so when these books are setting out here, they'll reflect your corrections. So, and if not, I'll gladly work with you. Anywhere in there, fifth, sixth, seventh, and if we have to, even the 8th. Okay.
Well, it just depends on when the board meets.
Right,
So they
and just
decide
communicate.
something on
The main thing is to communicate, and I'll make it happen on our end. As far as the publication is still a bottom line dollar amount. So, just stay in touch, that's all I ask. Okay.
I want to say that this is probably the most difficult budget I've had to work with since I've been on council, and this is my 5th full budget and 6th that I've been part of. We had some significant cuts that came to us from different sources. We lost $216,818 in public service real estate tax due to decrease in city sales estimate ratio, which affects the biomass boiler revenue. We had additional projected expenses for the emergency medical services at approximately $284,000, and that's assuming that the paid operations stay as they are, and we keep moving forward with that. We had additional jail expenses of $143,000, and I think we cut that 23,000. Is that
21, 23, something like that.
I got a cheat sheet here somewhere.
It's
The jail.
21,288. Half of it's for jail, half of it for law enforcement.
And that's
10,644 each.
644 each.
that's a significant cut for what the jail has to do, and we may have to find some money to support them later next year. Social service, children's service expenses. Our total cost would be approximately $122,000. That's after we get a reimbursement back from the state. I think their budget increase is over $900,000.
This current year, next year it's over 500,000, and we reimburse roughly 75%. And that 500,000 is an increase in addition to the current $1 million. So next year's budget is roughly 1.5 million, which we will be reimbursed 75%. That's it. We pay the remainder.
The problem with the reimbursement is we pay the total cost, then the state, at their leisure or pleasure, whichever way you want to say it, reimburses us.
Around to it.
So we have $122,000 more, plus our cash flow is affected by about $500,000 during the year at some points. Is that right?
That's
David?
correct.
So there's another issue that we ran into. We had health insurance costs this year that worked out to approximately $150,000. And that's reduced it by $100,000 that it was 16% increase, and some of our employees chose to go to $1,000 deductible to be able to afford their insurance.
And some are paying as much as $1,516 more.
And that's $1,500 more a year out of pocket. That's not counting the increase altogether. So those were some of the things that we were facing as we started this budget. And that's, David said, it's a perfect storm. You know, you don't see these kind of problems jump up all at once. Seldom, if ever. So with that said, it has been difficult, and I thank Mr. Douglas and I thank Mr. Bryant for all the hard work they've put into this.
We didn't go to fund balance.
We did not go to fund balance, and
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
we've tried to be physically conservative, and we've tried to establish a fund balance that we've got a little rainy day money. I don't know what else you'd call it. That's what it amounts to.
We've covered the legal aspect of having it in there, and then we've got a little bit extra.
Well, we set a fund balance at 17% of the budget, and we try to keep that much in reserve. That helps us in a few ways. It helps us with our bond ratings in that we're showing that we are trying to do a good job. It helps us in our ability to borrow money if we choose to do so. So, that is a good move, even though there's money sitting there. So why don't you spend that? Because if we spent it, we wouldn't have it, and then there we'd be. When David and I came on council, the fund balance was about $700,000, and that was a couple weeks operating expenses.
And most of that was the quote-unquote landfill money, that if that wasn't there, I'd hate to see where we would have actually been.
It was the landfill checking account.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things that went on. I think council has tried their best to...
I think both of them did a good
And they
job.
did.
Richard
They did.
PB did a great job presenting to us, and then we did our part of it. Having to sit down and wade through this perfect storm could not have been easy for either one of them.
Mr. Douglas's responsibility is to bring us a balanced budget, and he brought us a balanced budget and without making cuts. He made some cuts.
And once again, without going to fund balance to
Right,
do it.
and that's exactly what he did, and then we had the task of trying to find a way to lower the tax increase. And that's what we've done. It hurts a lot of people. And I spoke about this in the other meetings, but every department in the city took a hit. The Public Works and Parks and Rec, if you take the capital that they had requested out there, their hit was about $600,000. The police department, well over $100,000 in cuts. And like I said, every department took a cut. Mr. Douglas lost some money. The employees have lost some money in insurance, and
COLA.
there was no raise in this for city employees. We did keep a longevity pay in December, and that's contingent upon meeting revenue projections. If revenue projections fall any worse, then they won't get their longevity increase either, which is nothing more than a bonus. Doesn't add to their retirement, doesn't add to their paycheck every month. It just gives them a one-time bonus depending on years of service. So that's where we're at, and that's how we got there. Council, you have anything else? Mr. Douglas? Mr. Bryant?
I just want to thank BB for all his work. He did a lot of the heavy lifting.
He did.
And the department has really good working with us, putting it together. It was a very challenging budget, as you said, Mayor. It's probably I've had a couple of difficult ones in 2008, 2009, but this one ranks right up there.
Yeah, it was hard. And we're not finished. We haven't had a public hearing yet. But we're ready to go there anyway.
We're ready.
If there's nothing else,
Move to adjourn.
all in favor?